Okay, good afternoon again, and thank you for joining us. We have a busy agenda, so let's start now. So thank you for joining for this EGEC webinar, Meet the Members. So we started that 2 years ago to show our new members. So today is the agenda. So a short introduction from myself, and after I will give the floor to 7 new EGEC members. And after, you will have an opportunity for an online Q&A and networking session. But thanks to the Zoom team meeting, you can also raise your hand, use the chat and Q&A session if you have any questions, and maybe each presenters, once they have achieved their presentation, they can also try to answer the Zoom online Q&A and chat session. As I said, we are presenting our members because indeed EGEC as geothermal is growing and growing rapidly. As EGEC, we started indeed, it was an initiative from our board to present our new members during the COVID-19 because we are not really able during the pandemic to meet. So let's use this webinar to present members. And now we are nearly obliged to present that regularly because we have a lot of new members. And you can see we have not double, but nearly double in less than 5 years. And last year was a record year of new members. We had 39 new members. Each while we try every quarter to present 10 new members because we have a lot of members. Just in January this year, we have 5 new members. So you can see the trend is continuing this year. And it is good for us to say we are a European association because we have members from all over Europe. And you will see also today, members are coming from different countries all around the continent. In some larger countries, we have more members, but you can see our footprint is everywhere in Europe. All the detailed information is available in our website, and feel free to contact my colleagues from the commission team if you want to know more who is a member in your country or in a specific country. So the agenda today, as I said, it's to present 7 new members from 2024, from the second semester 2024. And the first one to present is Mr. Philippe Boll, CTO and co-founder of the company Geothermal Radar. Philippe, the floor is yours.
So Geothermal Radar, we are a modeling tool. Right now, we are able to help companies explore for geothermal resources. We're able to help develop strategies for the projects that you're interested in. And what we do is we couple geological data with a techno-economic modeling tool. So you can also figure out optimal strategies for your production scenarios. Right now at the screening level, and we aim to develop modules to allow people to take this down to prospecting and reservoir modeling. So what you see here is a quick highlight. We'll run through some of this in more detail, but we've got a Texas on the map over here in Louisiana in the top part of this picture. We can pick any point globally and we can extract a profile. And we're working with data sets that allow us to get down to 580 degrees C. So we're integrating Curie thermal depths, but also a lot of other data, some of it proprietary, and then in the very shallow part, well data sets that also help constrain the shallow geothermal gradients. In addition to that, moving down here, if you can see the cursor, see the cursor, we're able to calculate hydrostatic and lithostatic pressures on the fly at every location throughout Europe, which would be the interest here. But our data sets are global. As I mentioned, we run the techno-economics, so you can design your strategy for whether you want to use this for heat or power production, and at what cost and at what lifetime. And you can also model the different capital costs or financial incentives. Down at the bottom, it's a little bit squashed, but this might be this is a thermal decline of a project of a well doublet. Before we get into more detail, I thought worth mentioning the co-founding team. That is myself and Vladimir. I have the geological background and geothermal background. I've been 20 years plus in geothermal and oil and gas now, most of that in oil and gas. It's about 8 years now into geothermal. Vladimir comes from the banking sector and analytics and has a background in computing. So the platform, it's very interactive. It's global, so it covers all of Europe. We are also enable you to model, so modeling pressures right now, modeling temperature, modeling the economics, but also we're getting into being able to model heat in place, heat extractable, sort of numbers that you might need for SEC style reporting. And I know this is a very controversial topic. Many different regions have their own preferred method, but we think that going down a probabilistic route is very important, particularly for resource management, resource planning, and resource optimization. So as I mentioned, these are all aspects that we're building out as modules, from the global screening all the way down to how do I characterize my resource and how do I best extract it, and at which economic scenario. As I mentioned, we integrate well data and other geophysical or geothermal data sets in order to develop a geothermal gradient. And by going maybe over the top down to temperatures that we might not think we're interested in initially, it forces us to integrate lots of structural data from sediment thickness, basement character, down to the MOHO, even the LAB. And we look at that in association with the distribution of data points. And we start to understand the confidence in the geothermal gradient and the origin of it. I'm going to skip through some of these, but right now, the free version, if you go onto geothermalradar.com, you only see a shorter data set. But in the subscribed version that we're offering, where you can integrate a number of data sets, some of them published and some of them not. And this is showing an example of those data sets. As I mentioned, the geological structural data kicks in as a QC control, and we have that to help us understand our confidence in the geothermal data set. So we can really exploit the shallow temperature all the way down to supercritical temperatures, if that's of interest. It's fully dynamic, as I mentioned, it's global, and we're also integrated a pressure module, which is involving sediment correction for density that is non-linear with depth, and then we integrate that against a basement density that is fully variable, which is implemented using lithoRef. Excuse me, the lithoRef model of Afonso 2019. So as you can see, the shallow section then will be controlled by your sediment thickness data, the depth to basement, and then we get the basement kick when we hit the higher basement densities. Techno-economics, seeing some of those figures in more detail now. You see in this case here, which is an engineered geothermal sort of a well doublet that is injector producer style, and we're looking at a thermal decline over time of that particular well pair. We've able not only to model engineered geothermal or open loop, but we're also able to model closed loop in our techno-economics. I see that is of interest based on some LinkedIn comments over the weekend. We have this module already written, and we can compare the two projects like for like and see, well, understand the differences in costs, but also understand how the history of the well declines would occur. Going forwards, we'll have everything global. We'll have the basic economics, slender body theory for closed loop or RAME model, and we effectively our techno technology agnostic. We don't favor any particular one. We like to keep our options open. Some may work in areas where stimulation is forbidden, and others may work where there are no restrictions. So yes, we can follow prospecting. We can try to look at a more detailed approach of how to record our reserves in a sort of geothermal resource management scheme. And we integrate key databases, which allow us to model different rock properties, different fluids, in both the subsurface, and then in future that will also be implemented for what we call the top sides, the power plants. And I'm going to skip through that. Thank you very much. I've already covered the two founders, so that'll be my intro. Thanks, Philip.
Thank you, Philip, indeed, for this really interesting presentation for your model. You have been really on time in your presentation, so it will allow maybe for a short question if one of you have a question for geothermal radar. Do we have one from the chat of the Q&A? Also from the panelists, and feel free to ask questions to Philip. I don't see yet a question. Maybe it will come and people are still maybe to think and to digest the products you just present them. So maybe a question will come. Thank you again, Philip, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Now I'm moving to Greece, and we are giving the floor to George Tsipouris, administrator of a drilling company. So George, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning from me. Good morning from Greece. This is us. This is our family business, which is called Green Drilling Company. We're based in Greece. This is our website that you can visit and see more details. So I will do it manually because every time I push the next slide.
Yes, and there's no problem. Feel free.
The comment starts from my father, Triodaphilos, which he's still active, and he's a geologist. He started in Palermo, in Italy, and then he decided to get involved with drilling in Greece. During the initial period of 1985, it was a very good period in Greece, and was a lot of projects about water. The last years, me and my sister and several associates were all together to get further in this field of geothermal systems, and to offer our clients turnkey solutions from the licensing to the construction and the maintenance. The last year, we have over 15 years that get involved with geothermal systems that was getting more famous in Greece. We have a period that we made a pause because of financial crisis, but the last year we see that because of the Ukrainian war, the energy problem is boost to the geothermal system because it's more competitive in the functional costs. Right now, our mission and our vision is to offer to our clients complete geothermal systems, so they cannot. They will not obligate to go to several different professionals to have the final results. And we're trying also constantly to expand our field of service that we provide. One very good combination is that we can suggest to exploit not only the water through the drilling well for water, but also the geothermal systems. So every house have the final result to be independent in water and the energy. This is very good even if you can combine it with photovoltaic systems. And so the final result is to have a total solution of where you are 100% independent in water and energy. So we are constantly invest in this direction with machinery and with field and human resources, so we can provide all these result that we think is the best for our clients. As I mentioned before, we're trying to undertake from the alpha to omega stage of all the total project, from the licensing, what is something very specific in Greece. And every year, during that, the government make efforts to make it more simply. We think that every year some bureaucracy is added, despite this fact. What we're trying to overcome it. Except of this, we're having some machinery that's very specialized about the geothermal systems drilling, and we're managed to reduce our solids waste of the drilling. Until today, we have drilled over 400,000 meters of several types of drilling, such as not only for geothermal systems, but also for geotechnical or drilling wells for water, and also CO2 wells for medical use or in the food industry. We have a very great area of drilling across Greece, but the base is in the northern Greece, Thessaloniki, the second biggest town of Greece. We have many projects in several gas stations, private here in Thessaloniki, and we have managed to implement some international systems for quality, for environmental administration, as 9001, and every year we are trying to add something new. For this year, our goal is to get verified with the 14001 ISO. This is our machinery. In the left, you can see the oldest one. It's near to my age, 35. This is a classical hydraulic drilling, which has potential about to go until 450 meters, with very big depth. It's not so usually. The most drilling wells in Greece is about 250 here in northern Greece. In the right hand, you can see the more new machinery, which has also the innovative character of managing the drilling fluids during the extraction. Do not, because you don't need any pit to save them. You can use it with double head enclosed circulation system. So the only thing that you will see is only the drilling sign in the end of the stall of the geothermal probe. Both of them, you use them in soft or hard formations with water or air compressors. This is some more machinery. As I mentioned before, the most, I think that the most crucial thing about our way of doing geothermal systems is that we use mostly the natural material during the extraction, which has several characteristics. Most important, which is that you have managed to achieve the best coefficient of performance for the system. That's because even if you take the 100% that the earth can gives you, so there's no other reason to use something artificial. If you use the right method, you can install it and fill all the empty space around the geothermal probe. So you have not only significant technological advancement, techno-economical advancement and achievement, but also you have a very significant coefficient of performance in the system. This is a very sensitive spot because it's very difficult to manage to use all the extracting material from one drilling hole and put it inside to another. You have to cut it in a specific way. So it's a combination from knowledge and experience. and it's very difficult to achieve the final result, which is the best for both aspects, techno-economical and efficiency. And also you have very good environmental preservation and chemical compatibility. We have made several projects in Greece, most of very famous is one complex of schools in Kozani, which is the energy center of our country, in a school with 70 geothermal boreholes. It was a very difficult project because we have limestones, and because of limestones we have many empty caves, and it was very difficult to overcome it and deliver the final project to the contractor. One also project was in Larsa, which is about a warehouse, and they're trying to a project, a European project, to combine the usage of geothermal, the usage of oil, and see the difference in the price of the function of the warehouse. And another project was recently in Athens Riviera, in a residential complex. It was very expensive construction, and in this project we have the very important thing in geothermal systems, that it is water. We have water from 0 point, from 0 meters depth. And that is very important because we have very enhanced efficiency in geothermal systems. That's for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George, for this presentation and about the company drilling in Greece. Do we have some question to George about company and the market in Greece for geothermal heat pump systems? No, maybe one question from myself. So how is the market currently for geothermal heat pumps in Greece? Is it still developing? It's more focusing on which kind of large project? You mentioned some 70 boreholes. Or it's still more the individual houses market?
We don't have very big projects, as I saw, for example, in the last in one conference in Ireland or in some others, because I saw in Finland, for example, it's very common to drill in 300 meters in several hundreds of drilling wells. But in Greece, most common projects about 5 to 10 boreholes, which depth is 100 meters. So we have, I could say, small projects here. Mm-hmm. But there are some times that you can see in big projects like public sector, for schools or for hospitals, that are trying to introduce these new technologies and to adapt it. So we're talking about projects with very large number of drilling wells.
Okay, so like in other market is coming also in Greece. So hope a good market for you in 2025. Thank you again. And now let's keep focus on more of a shallow geothermal part. And it's my pleasure to give the floor to Francois from the RMI Geophysical Center in Belgium. Francois, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Philippe. Hello, everyone. So my name is, can you hear me and can you read slides? Yes.
I confirm we can hear you, we can see your slides, but unfortunately we cannot still see your video.
Is it better now?
We see your slide, we hear you, so yeah, you can start.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. So my name is Francois Humblay. Thank you for the invitation. I'm pleased to present the Geophysical Center of the Royal Metallurgical Institute. Personally, my background is I'm a mechanical engineer, and I also have a Master of Science in Geophysics. Before joining the RMI, I worked in the oil and gas industry and also in the aeronautics industry, mainly as project engineer. And I joined RMI quite a long time ago, 14 years ago, as coordinator of a project called Magnetic Valley. And the focus of this project was to both develop the research facilities and to also promote and identify and develop applied geophysics. So in this presentation, I will give first an overview of the main activities. Here we perform it in the center. And then I will focus on geomagnetic instruments, because you will see we design, manufacture and commercialize some instruments. And then I will point to 3 different services we envision to the development of geothermal. So the magnetic survey and data processing. We made also a pilot project for the directional drilling for a major operator in Argentina. And I will briefly present what we did with this automated magnetic observatory. And a third kind of service we can propose is from the lab of environmental magnetism. We can perform field and lab measurements. And finally, I will give a few words about our first geothermal project, which is starting this year. So first, the Geophysical Center of the RMI is located about 100 kilometers the south of Brussels, nearby the border with France. We are at a remote place because we are primarily focused on geophysical observations. Different kind of geophysical observations. First is that we operate a magnetic observatory. This is the picture you have seen on the previous slide. It was the magnetic observatory. We also monitor the ionosphere and the cosmic ray, and we have developed a range of services for the space weather that you can find through the website of the Solar Terrestrial Center of Excellence. We provide real-time data. We also have a lab of environmental magnetism. We host many instruments operated by third parties for seismology, gravimetry, weather station, air quality, and so forth. We have quite a broad range of activities, but we are only, let's say, about 20 people working here. So to introduce the DI flux, I will first explain briefly why this instrument, what is the reason for this instrument. As you know, the Earth's magnetic field is a vector, and a vector which is both spatially and over the time really changing. So in magnetic observatories, which are fixed location, we measure 1 second data. And this is performed by means of a variometer, a vector, to perform the vector measurements every second. But those instruments need some calibration, and this calibration is performed by absolute measurements. And those absolute measurements are made by scalar magnetometer to measure the intensity of the vector, and by DI flux, which are measuring the declination and inclination of the Earth's magnetic field. So you see, to fully characterize accurately the Earth's magnetic field, you need those 3 kinds of instruments. Variometer and scalar magnetometer are automated instruments for a long time, but DI flux instruments have been only recently automated by our team here in the center. And we offer to the magnetic observatory communities and other applications a full range of DI flux instruments. Here you see both our, let's say, conventional DI flux instruments, which are the FLM5 and the WDIF instruments. We need an operator to make the measurements, and on the left, the AutoDIF, which are the automated DI flux instruments that that allow us to make the first fully automated magnetic observatories. So just to give you an idea, here are all our DI flux instruments around the world currently. So in blue, you see that we have instruments in Australia, in South Korea, in Japan, in the United States, a bit everywhere. And this year we have two instruments, two automated instruments to install in Antarctica. One has been installed earlier this month at the Belgian station in Antarctica, and the other one will be installed by the end of this year. And we have also a very special project, which is the deployment of the first fully automated seafloor magnetic observatory in Canada later this year. I said we made a pilot project for a major oil company. So with the automated DI flux, we can deploy a fully automated magnetic observatory, and this is what we did in Argentina to provide assistance to the directional drilling on 2 wells about 5,000 meter depth. For this project, first we made a magnetic survey to recognize the area, decide where to put the observatories and so forth. And in a second, a bit later on, we installed the fully automated magnetic observatory, which is, you see, very small observatory. It consists of those 3 boxes installed in the desert. And we installed this magnetic observatory. We came back in Belgium, and from our desk, we provided real-time data to the drilling operator, and it allowed. Well, of course, in this area, the magnetic field was not really challenging, but the challenge was to demonstrate the robustness of the technology and the integration in the workflows of the drilling operators, and it was a successful pilot project. So other kind of service we can provide to geothermal activity is with our lab of environmental magnetism. You know, when we make magnetic survey, the key parameter then for the interpretation of the survey is the magnetic susceptibility. So first kind of thing we can do is to go into the field and make those measurements. Of course, this measurement is an integral measurement. It does not, you cannot access to the reason why you have such data. And if such an interpretation is needed, we can bring back to the lab some samples where we have MPMS squid magnetometer, which is a device allowing us to make a full characterization of the magnetic properties of those samples. So it has the ability to identify the different magnetic phases. Magnetic susceptibility can be due to different kind of minerals or due to the different sizes of the grain. And so this instrument will help us understand the origin of the magnetic susceptibility that we measured. And finally, now I will give a few words about our first geothermal project, which is WellScan. WellScan is an exploration program that is starting this year. The scope is to assess the deep geothermal potential in 4 areas in the Walloon region. It is funded by the Walloon region. The program leader is the Geological Survey of Belgium, and we joined as a partner supporting the GSB. Those 4 areas are not very similar. The 3 first are quite similar. Area 1, 2, and 3 around Charleroi, Liège, and Verviers. The target there is we hope to find the Denantian reservoir, which is under operation for about 40 years in the area of Mons. There, the idea will, well, much more than an idea. What we will do this year is to deploy 400 kilometers of seismic lines, and the area 4 there, the geological context is completely different, and that's why we will perform this year a preliminary survey, and this is a very challenging area because the context is that we are on the Brabant Massif, a structural model which has to be validated. There are no deep well. This is an urbanized area. There are few outcrops, and the layers are almost vertical. Our contribution will be to reprocess the aeromagnetic data. A survey was performed over the entire country about 30 years ago, and we will process those data in this particular area. And we will also perform some field and lab measurements to support the interpretation of the magnetic anomalies. So this area is very challenging, and we hope that through this first project we will help the GSB to prepare an exploration program next year. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you, Francois. Really interesting to see the development in Wallonia, and also that in 2025 and 2026 we see even more exploration campaigns to better assess the potential before drilling. Thank you, Francois. Do we have some question to him for the situation in Belgium? No? Please use the chat or the Q&A if you have any question.
Sorry, I just realized that my video was not on still. Sorry.
But good, now we can see you. I don't see any question that says maybe it will come, and for your information, the presentation is recorded and will be shared afterwards. Thanks again. Let's move on and now give the floor to Michael Soll from Aquaprox Industries.
Good morning to our members united today. I am Michael Soll, the German chemist and the director of Aquaprox R&D department for 6 years now. I suppose you all know or have heard about Aquaprox. Today I will give you a brief overview of who we are and what we do. Time is short, I can go into the details of each slide, but this presentation is available. Well, Aquaprox, in short, is a water treatment specialist in both chemical products and engineering. Our agencies are spread all over Europe, if you want to, and North Africa. We have a highly motivated team of 350 employees, the Aquaprox company at all, and they are currently move around 7,000 tons of chemical products per year, creating a total turnover of about 120 million of euro. We are with you in general all along every step of the process, from let's say groundwater to discharge water. Our production site is in Malesani, near Paris, and the headquarters is in Paris. The business of Aquaprox unit, Aquaprox Industries, is divided into 4 groups, if you want to. We have 4 sub-units. We have cooling tower treatment, steam boilers, wastewater, and we have geothermal water treatment. And the 4th of these is our topic today, geothermal energy, and our R&D activities in this field of activities carried out by a very performing laboratory team. As you can see here, we have only 6, but it is enough to be performing. our performance is based, last but not least, on our dynamic structure. We have R&D with all of our products, and we have simulations, and we have production of around about 40 tons per day, all under one roof, as you can see when you look out of the window. The laboratory is inside, and the produced chemicals are outside. So we prepare 40 grams per day in the laboratory and 40 tons per day under the same roof. You know, when you look out the window, you can see the nice IBC that are produced around about 50 meters away from the laboratory. Well, some keywords about 3 decades of our activity, but since Aquaprox is a chemical company, we invite you now to dive a little bit into the geothermal water and its chemistry. You can see here a typical water analysis. Some of you will be familiar with this, the elements coming from the underground of our planet, and always leading to the same problems in general. Take a look on the red ones. We have barium, strontium, and sulfate, and the heavy metals, lead, antimony, copper, and so on and so forth. We have lithium that we want to, and we have sodium, potassium that does not give any issues. But the red ones in general lead to the same problems. The first problem is deposit formation in the heat exchangers when the temperature decreases. At 100, 150 centigrade, all of these chemical elements are quite in solution, but when in the hex the temperature decreases, they become oversaturated, and we have the formation of very ugly deposits, sulfates and sulfides. To understand this formation, we have to take a closer look at their composition: barium, strontium, calcium sulfate, or even carbonates, and at the right hand, the heavy metal sulfides, Pb, Sb, As, Cu, sulfides, that give rise to the same kind of problems: deposit formation in the heat exchanger. And you know that the lead 210, I think, is radioactive. We have still some NORM issues. But okay, let's leave it at that. To overcome these problems, we have to take a closer look, or the chemist has to go into a little bit into the atomic structure. The geologists among you are very familiar with such images, I think. When there are such problems, we have in general 2 possibilities. We can cure, or we can clean. In this image, you can see a cleaning product, well, acute clean PBS1, that will transform the very sticky sulfur of lead into a white form that can be easily rinsed off. We can eliminate, we can clean the heat exchanger in around about 15 to 20 minutes. And this is the only product on the market that can achieve this goal within 20 minutes and with a 10% solution. You can try nitric acid or even stronger oxidizers, but you will need 100% concentration, and you will need a little bit more of time. Here we achieve a complete cleaning operation within 10, 15, 20 minutes, and with a 10% solution of this product. We have the other choice. The better choice is to prevent. Here we have some details of our laboratory testing. We will skip this. We have no time for that. To prevent with some final products with synergistic ingredients, as green as possible. When we look at our favorite, the CMS, carboxymethylated starch, you will be familiar with that kind of molecule. It is a natural-based sugar derivative, if you want to. And we try to avoid all of these problems with the help of carboxymethylated starch that is biodegradable and harmless. On the other hand, when we do our laboratory simulation, we will skip all the details and we come, let's say, to the BAT, the best available technology of today, the geodispersed 210. This is a synergistic mixture of these molecules that you can see here. Some phosphonic acids, carboxymethylated starch, and if you have the right percentage of each of these ingredients, you will come to a very, very performant deposit inhibitor that we call now the BAT, and we sell it under the name geodispersed 210. The other problem is the corrosion. This almost everywhere a consequence of the water chemistry that we saw above. Our R&D department did some simulations resulting in the products GeoProtect 200 and 300, clearly the BAT today. So the odds and ends are that it is our will to understand and to solve problems that guarantee our customer satisfaction for around about 3 decades. The last slide is the most important one. Thank you for your attention. Do you have some questions? The full presentation is available, of course, and I had to skip some slides, but if you are interested in this interesting topic, you may ask for the full presentation in full length.
Thank you, Michael. It's really interesting product you're developing. Just one question: on which country in Europe are you selling such a product format?
On which countries?
Yes, in Europe.
In Europe, oh, in general, in France, of course, we have around about 30 geothermal wells around Paris. All of them, almost all of them, our customers. We sell is in Germany, where the law around these products are very strict, very severe. Cannot dose anything but sugar in general, sugar and salt perhaps. We sell it in Spain, in Portugal, all over Europe, in Bulgaria.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a question to Michael?
You can call me Michael.
Michael, up to you. Okay.
I'm a German chemist, but in general, the French have some problems.
Okay, I have a question for you from Charles Ferguson. He said, excellent product. You have to mix with geothermal water. Good upkeep product with a nice byproduct.
I did not get your question.
If maybe the best if that's your point of Q&A.
What product? What kind of product? The cleaner or the inhibitor?
Or maybe here it seems that we are coming to a bilateral discussion. So the best, Michael, I suggest you open the Q&A session and you can directly answer, typing your answer to Charles Ferguson. Okay?
George Ferguson. George Ferguson, you could send me easily an email, and we could have some interchanges by email.
Okay, because I see there's another question, and maybe I take this one before giving the floor to the next speaker.
I think
it's
the email addresses are spread. The email addresses are known among the members.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yet, any information on microorganism causing corrosion? Okay, so Michael, you have 2 questions in the chat to answer for you.
Okay.
Thank you. And with that, I will give the floor to Simone Malesani from Tenaris.
Can you see my screen, Philippe?
I confirm, I see your screen, we see you, and the mic is on.
Very good. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Simone Malesani. I've been working in the OCTG industry for over 12 years for Tenaris. And I'm now responsible for OCTG sales in continental Europe. And I'm based in Italy, in Dalmine. And I'm here with my colleague Giacomo Marcolin.
Hello to everyone, Giacomo Marcolin, Technical Sales Manager covering European market with a focus on energy transition market.
Okay, so a few words about Tenaris. Tenaris is a global leader in pipes and related services for the world's energy industries. So we serve the energy market, and particularly the oil and gas sector, and we support our customers in the energy transition, and with much focus on the geothermal energy and geothermal applications. Few numbers about Tenaris. In 2023, our net sales amounted to $14.9 billion, and we have manufacturing facilities in 15 countries and service and distribution networks in 23 countries. And we will see in a while the map. We have R&D centers in 3 countries, so one in Italy, one in Mexico, and one in Argentina. And we're quoted in 3 stock exchanges, New York, Italy, Mexico, and we're approximately 29,000 employees worldwide. Here, one of our added value is the proximity to our clients worldwide, with manufacturing centers in purple, service centers in green, R&D centers in blue, the one I just mentioned, and then commercial offices almost everywhere our customers are located. And finally, in yellow, we have a very strong presence also for coating facilities. Now, focusing a bit more in Europe. In Europe, we have a strong industrial presence with a vertically integrated system supplying a full range of OCTG products. So we have the industrial capability to produce seamless casing and tubing pipes from 238 tubing to 24.5 seamless casing, both in carbon steel grades, so the standard API carbon steel grades, the proprietary carbon steel, and also 13 chromium grades on all the product range. And integrated system, what does it mean? It means that we cast the steel starting from scrap mostly, and then we do the piercing, heat treatment, testing, finishing, and also threading of API connection and our proprietary connections. We do this in Italy, in Dalmine, exactly where myself and Giacomo are based, where we produce casing from 5.5 to 24.5 inches diameter, and then also in Romania, where our production is mostly focused on the tubing sizes from 238 to 5.5 inches. And important to mention also that we have a strong presence of licensing network to able to cut, thread our connections. For example, when our customers need threading of casing hangers, tubing hangers, or also all the floating equipment, or maybe they simply need support for threading of crossovers or pop joints. We have a strong presence with our own accessory shops, like in Italy, Romania, in Aberdeen, in Norway, and then also with external licensees. Just to mention some, UK, Norway, Germany, Hungary, Netherlands, and then you can find online the full network of licensees. And then, just to not forget the rest, we have a strong network of service centers. The one in green are property of Tenaris, are managed by Tenaris, but then we also rely on our partners to be able to be the closest possible to our customers, to provide, for example, stock management services and delivery to the rig when casing and tubing strings are actually needed. Moving forward with the presentation, we are here to talk about geothermal. So geothermal energy, clean energy, sustainable energy. So before going to see what are our products for the market, I would like to share with you what is our own decarbonization strategy, because we are steel producers and we are strongly committed to developing a long-term sustainable business. So we try to minimize the environmental impact of our own operations. And how do we do this? In 2023, Tenaris invested almost $200 million for decarbonization, and our management, our executive committee, set a target to reduce 30% our CO2 intensity per ton of steel produced. And out of this 30%, we already achieved the 70% target compared to the 2018 baseline. How did we do this? By increasing the use of scrap in our electric furnaces, increasing the renewable electricity, so investing in solar and in the wind energy also, and improving the energy efficiency, collaborating with partners to minimize the CO2 footprint. And then we are studying technologies to use the hydrogen, alternative raw material, CCS, so carbon capture and storage of the CO2 emitted. And then we set an internal carbon price at $80 USD per ton of CO2. And we take this number into consideration when we do investment decisions for new projects. So this target is really key for the decarbonization of the new projects. Now, we show you a bit of what is our internal strategy for the decarbonization for sustainable energy. And in this sense, going to the market, we developed a dedicated portfolio of products, so CTG products, casing and tubing for geothermal projects. And now I leave the word to my colleague, Giacomo Marcolini.
Thank you, Simone. Here we will go for an overview on our technical solutions for geothermal market, starting from the connections and going to the pipe body properties, and then closing with the services that we provide along with our products. And here in this slide are summed up the main families for this market that now we are selling in this market, starting from the left with the Tenaris Easy Running. This is a legacy connection that we have in our portfolio since many years and is a workhorse for this kind of market, with more than 250 kilometers already installed in geothermal projects, low enthalpy, but also high enthalpy and supercritical fluids. This connection was designed to overcome the limitations of a buttress connections, improving the runnability and introducing a shoulder in the coupling. And with this pin to shoulder contact, we enable this connection to get a 100% compression efficiency. That of course is a plus when we are dealing with thermal stresses like in geothermal. After this connection that is covering the casing range, we can mention the Tenaris Blue connection that is probably the most sold connection in our portfolio. Is featuring all the plus that we have discussed for the easy running, and on top of it is introducing a metal to metal seal for gas tightness, and is featuring qualifications as CAL4 throughout all the range, and in particular for the geothermal application, also on the TWCCP protocol specific for the thermal wells. For special application then that are requiring a special clearance or high torque, we have the wedge family. In this case, we are bringing as example the wedge 513, that is a full flush connection on Jodeh, so it's prescribed for tight clearances. We can think about drilling liners or re-entry for workovers, for example, just to give you a couple of examples. In this case, this family has a particular thread design. So the shape of the thread and their helical path around the pipe are allowing a maximization of thread contact, allowing this connection to get an exceptional torque strength and a very high compression rating, considering an integral connection. Of course, for this kind of family, we have different shapes, because we can have also semi-flush, thread and couple, sling coupling connections that we propose according to the specific needs of the project. And going to the pipe body, here we mention, as Simone was saying, we can produce different proprietary grades, up to 13 chrome for corrosion resistance. What I wanted to show here in this slide is one feature that usually is a key aspect to be considered in a design of the geothermal casing, that is the collapse resistance. In particular, you can see that there are many features in the product that needs to be controlled, that are going from the chemical composition up to the dimensional tolerances and the residual stresses. And so it's important and an holistic control throughout all the process, starting from the steel making up to the rolling and the dimensional check and the NDT, which we can cover throughout all our integrated process. As you see here, we are also pairing all these, the full-scale testing and the industrial practices with finite element simulations that are also allowing us to optimize our process and our product in terms of collapse, but also give to the customer specific supports. In particular, you can think about, for example, the remaining collapse rating for worn casing or corroded casing. And this is just one of the technical service that we are providing for the geothermal industry. Starting from the material selection support based on our experience, based on tests that we are doing in the material and on simulation that we are doing on softwares, as long as string design, continuous technical support also during the installation, during the storage of the pipes, inspections, and providing also full packages through our qualified partners of coating, GI lining, and also perforating and slotting. As well as other services that are more related to supply chain, so stock management, just-in-time delivery to the site, and field service during the installation of the pipe. So as you can see, all these set of services are starting before the life of the project and finishing with the execution and the running all, and even after the running all, as we like to say, following the operation every step of the way. So for the wrap up and the conclusion, I leave again the speech to Simone.
And yes, to close the presentation, here you can see a worldwide map with a global track record of the geothermal projects that we've been supplying in the past few years. So with 2 projects in South America, 6 in Mexico, 3 projects in North America, and then the most focus in Europe, obviously due to the strong focus on the energy transition with 15 projects, 2 projects in Far East, and 5 projects in Southeast Asia. And projects ranging from simple shallow projects up to the most complex EGS projects, and also projects with targeting fluids in supercritical conditions. So for any curiosity you might have, you can reach out to me or my colleague Giacomo Marcolin, and we will be very glad to reply to your questions and provide you additional details.
Thank you to both of you. Thank you for Tenaris for this interesting overview on your company profile. Do we have any question to them? Please use the chat, the Q&A. Please see if it's coming. Or it will come later. Yes, there's one question. Maybe it should be for you. We're going to be timing. How do you think of the Chinese market for geothermal?
Sorry?
How do you see the Chinese market, the market in China?
Look, my view is that when talking about geothermal energy, again, we're talking about clean energy, sustainable energy. So we believe that what I just presented to you, so the local presence, so proximity to our clients, technical support, services, and also our commitment to energy transition represent key aspects that will matter more and more for our clients and also for the upcoming regulations of the European Union. So we believe that, I mean, we see Chinese products, we see Chinese pipes trying to enter into the geothermal market, but we still believe that these aspects will represent, a key values for our clients and for the European Union.
Thank you, Simone. I see there's another question for you, but due to time constraint, we cannot answer it live. So feel free to use the Q&A session to answer the second question to you.
Thanks
you again
for the opportunity. Thank you.
You're welcome. And now I will give the floor to Yasin Jodeh to present to us his company, Atlas. Yasin, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you, Philippe. Let me just share my screen. Here it is. You see it?
Yes, we see you, we hear you, and the screen is there, not in full screen mode, but soon show.
Thank you very much. So my name is Yasin Jodeh. I'm coming from company Atlas in Slovenia. We are we are a small company working in local market. It's a privately owned company. It was established by my father, handed over to me, let's say 15 years or even about that ago. Now we consist of 24 employees, and our main work is we are distributor of solutions of HVAC equipment and ground source installation materials. The two key suppliers we have are from Sweden. One is Movitech Group, who is producing the probes and other material for ground source heat collectors. And the other one is Thermia, who is a producer exclusively of geothermal heat pumps, of ground source heat pumps. Through our history, we developed a way of work where we provide support to everybody who is included in the development of a project, either a small or a large project. So we support the investor, the designer, the installer, the driller, whoever is involved in developing from day one. So in the last, I would say 10 years or about that, we focused really strongly on ground source heat pumps. We saw that the market is heading in the direction of the air source. So we feel, let's say now we already feel an obligation to support the growth of ground source heat pump market in our country. We work exclusively in Slovenia, and Slovenia is very small. So we have a very good touch and feel over what's going on in the market. And we work with also a lot with the investors to direct them in the right way from the phase where they have the idea about their project. Shortly about Slovenia. Slovenia is a very diverse country. It's very small. It's only 20,000 cubic square kilometers. And we lie at the junction of Alps on the north, Dinaric range on the southwest, and the Pannonian Basin on the east and northeast. So you can imagine it's very diverse, but it also has strong potential for the use of shallow geothermal. We don't do deep geothermal, although we do have some projects where we applied heat pumps to some deep wells. Our focus for new projects is shallow, meaning up to 200 meters. So we are lucky that the largest cities are located on the main rivers, which makes it very good potential for the use of groundwater for larger applications. And I should mention, even though we are at the Adriatic coast on one side, we have quite alpine conditions in the winter. So weather around 0 degrees or below is very common. So the direction with air source for our country is not good. It's a big burden for the electricity grid, so we try to go the other way. So this is a map by a geological survey which shows utilization of ground source heat pumps with the concentrations of blue dots, the groundwater, the open loop, near the largest rivers, and the rest is mainly closed loop, which is vertical loops up to 200 meters deep. I should mention the most common method of drilling is overburden in our market with a compressor. So if you see, let's say, the European average, we are not that bad. We are in the number of geothermal heat pump systems per 1,000 households. We are quite high, I would say, close to our northern neighbors and the other countries way up north. And the growth of installations per year is increasing very slowly. So you can see in the bottom left, the graph shows about 24 megawatts per year. So it's not that much, of which majority is still showing to be the open loop systems, because the larger systems are open loop, the smaller are closer loop. But we see a shift in that as well. So our role, as mentioned earlier, along that being a distributor of heat pumps, and our interest is to grow, of course, the sales of heat pumps and the related products. We want to have customers who have a sustainable solution, which is cost effective and which is something that they will not have to think about for a long time. So on the graph, it shows the blue is the air source units, the orange is the ground source. So you see that there is still a lot to be done. However, the orange part is increasing little by little every year. So Slovenia is a very mature market for heat pumps. We've seen installations being going on for 20, 25 or even more years. However, the understanding of technology is still not on the best level until today. Maybe one of the reasons is they just install air source, and that's simple, like a gas boiler, just put it in and it works. However, if you want to work with ground source and you want to have successful projects, it needs a little bit more than just the installation. We work with all the stakeholders, as I mentioned, and we also organize events where we try to do our best to inform the public about the benefits of ground source solutions. On the photos, you can see the seminar we had last year. It was a day of shallow geothermal energy. It was organized by, let's say, it was a large conference, and we took one day and invited some partners, among them also EGEC. And we always aim to supply knowledge and solutions to people who can influence the projects to go into the way of geothermal. And I think we are the only commercial company in the market so committed to that. Let's say we go through all the phases from the idea with the investor or with the designer, through the dimensioning of the system, of the vertical loop fields, and we also help drillers, or we take care and we execute the borehole fields with our partners. We offer the pre-sale and the after-sale support, so we are there through the whole lifetime of the system. We are here for 35 years, so the customers understand that we can be a reliable partner. So the project types, they are mainly in either domestic, which are up to 20 kilowatts, and they are mainly with the vertical probes, with the borehole heat exchangers, And we do some light commercial installations between 50 and 100, which are mixed borehole or open loop, and commercial up to 1 megawatt. So, and of course, these installations are majority open loop with groundwater, but we have submitted recently with a design firm a project for let's say governmental project with 154 boreholes and 1.6 megawatt of power output. So I think it will be the largest project in the country when it's done. We supply annually about 6 megawatts. So as we saw earlier, it's about 25 megawatts per year in Slovenia. So I would say 20% of the market. The market is growing. And interestingly enough, the last couple of years, the commercial part is exceeding the domestic. So we see inclination of the market into the commercial, which is supported by the subsidies, of course. It depends a lot on the subsidies from the market, from the government. We are, so the motto is clear. We want to make it safe and we want to make it easy because usually the stakeholders from the investor and to all the installer and everybody, they are worried that the project with the ground source is risky, that it's hard to be done. It brings a lot of uncertainties. So we want to make it safe and easy for everybody. And we really want to work with all levels. So that's why we never want to compete with any of them. We don't want to compete with designers, drillers, installers. We support them. That's our role. And the project, when it's executed, it's always everybody is proud of it, not just us. So it's always a result of conjoint effort of all the stakeholders involved. So we have a saying that the best project we will ever do is going to be the one ahead of us. So that's it shortly from my side.
Thank you, Yasin, for your interesting presentation and this overview of the market in Slovenia. I see that time is running and we still have one speaker to deliver his presentation. So let's use the chat and the Q&A if you have any question to Yasin. Thanks again, Yasin, for your presentation. And now my pleasure to give the floor to the speaker number 7. It's Mr. Vladislev Brkic, President of the Croatian Geothermal Energy Association. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for having the opportunity to introduce our Croatian Geothermal Energy Association. I try to share my screen for beginning. Do you see my?
Confirm we can see it. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. So my name is Vladislev Brkic. I'm coming from academia. I'm professor at the Faculty of Mining, Geology, and Petroleum Engineering, University of Zagreb. I am petroleum engineer. So CrROGEA, Croatian Geothermal Energy Association, it is not private company, service company. We are professional association in geothermal energy. We decided to establish our society during the known pandemic time. It was in September 2021. We met each other, as you can see here, in one cafe and decided to start with CrROGEA, Croatian Energy Association. At the moment, we have more than 100 members. We define our motto. The motto of the association is energy under our feet, or the energy we walk on. So what are association goals? The first goal is encourage the development and the use of geothermal resources in the Republic of Croatia, because we have a higher geothermal gradient, which means that we have a geothermal gradient which is higher, which is more than 60% of European average. So we collecting, publishing, and exchanging scientific, because what I mentioned, most of members coming up from academia, and technical information within the community, within stakeholders. It consists of geothermal experts, what I mentioned, academia, and what is important to communicate our results or our project with the public. So the association activities are, as you can see here, promoting and coordinating scientific and professional education, providing information with national and international institution, investor. In Croatia, we have more foreign investors and domestic as well. And we try to encouraging and organizing business contacts, networking between interested organization and members to enhance mature cooperation. Up to date, we have organized more than 15 workshops. We started with first workshop in the capital of Croatia, city of Zagreb. It was in student dormitorium, because very close to the student dormitorium is the geothermal field, Zagreb. And the last information is that 2 weeks ago, the first building of dormitory was connected by geothermal resources, and it will be used, or it's using for heating of the building. Then we decided to move to the northwestern and central Croatia and to introduce them possibility of exploration of geothermal wells in their region. What is more important for us is organized round table and workshop with our Croatian Academia for Science and Arts, and it was organized the workshop named the function of low carbon development of the Republic of Croatia, when we once again presented the potential of geothermal energy in the northern Pannonian basin or the northern part of Croatia. And we didn't forget our agriculture and vegetables growing, and we show example of successful use of geothermal energy is in vegetables growing. It was a growing of tomato. Then the best practice of construction of shallower and especially deep geothermal wells were presented as well. And the last and not the least, we presented one project or more project regarding electricity, production of electricity from geothermal power plants, because we have in Croatia one binary geothermal power plants at the moment. So the most important part of our association is to organize the field trips. You can see some photo of field trip and our presentation in the workshop. So just let you show very briefly. And this is a greenhouse in the eastern part of Croatia. What I mentioned, the geothermal water is used for growing of tomato. Before, the gas was using for heating. And the roof of the greenhouse, what is very interesting, is covered by a solar panel. But during the last summer storm was destroyed the whole roof, but now it was repaired. And here is the well. The depth of this well is 1.5 kilometers. It's very far from the greenhouse. And this is very short from my side, and thank you for your attention.
Oh, thank you, Professor Brkic. It was really interesting to hear about this newly created, established Croatian Geothermal Association. So thank you for supporting the development of geothermal in Croatia. We are quite impressed by the latest development and the upcoming development, and also geothermal in Croatia. Do you have any question about the Croatian market? Burning question? No, I don't see any. I still see some discussion in the Q&A. So let's moving on. I think it's time to conclude this really interesting meet the members. We learned quite a lot about new companies entering the market or established companies developing product for the geothermal market. We presented 7 new members, but as I mentioned already in January 2025, we have 5 new members in EGEC. So we will continue this webinar meet the members. Probably the next one will be in spring. And hope it was interesting for you. I saw that we were more than 100 attendees, so I see that as a signal of interest on following these webinars, seeing what others are doing. Feel free to reach us if you want to be in contact with another member of EGEC, and if also you want to share any news about your project. The recording and the presentation will be available, and you will receive all this information from my staff. With that, I end this webinar, and I wish you a good afternoon and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye, and thank you again for all the presenters.